Okay. So what we are going to do now is it's known as codes, groups, and filters. Coding and grouping is not two different things actually. It's somehow it is related, because only when you start giving the codes to it, that's where you want to filter it also or group it also. It's all interrelated to each other. There are three different types of codes available, or basically when we create a code there are three ways we can create these codes. We can create the codes under project, or the codes can be created for the projects. You can see in this project page, I can see there's in this detail window there's an option called as codes, so we can assign codes here. So we can create codes for project. We can create codes for activities as well. Probably if I have to go to detail window to show you that. Okay, here you can see in the detail window also we have an option called as codes, and for the resources also we'll have a codes. Right, okay. When I click on this, you can find there's an option called as codes. Now what is these codes are for? The best example to understand what are codes and how it is used, I know if you go to any pharmaceutical shop, just a second, if you go to any pharmacy and you ask for some medicine, and either they look into their laptops or desktops to identify that they have it or not, or if the shop is very small, they do not have any online stuff, what he'll do, he'll start searching it here and there. Now he'll not search the entire shop. He'll take that particular tablet's name and he'll start searching one particular box. If it is there, he'll give you, or he'll say it's not there. I used to wonder how your shop is such a big, you have so many different types of tablets. You are just seeing one particular box and you're telling me it's there or it's not there. How do you decide this? When not now, but when I was a kid, I used to wonder how, why you are not searching anywhere else. You are such a big place. Then I understood how it was. There was something called as coding which have been done. Coding in terms of the drugs, or the coding has been done in terms of the alphabets and so stuff. So what they used to do, they know that if it is there, it should be here only, or else it will not be there in our shop. So that's how it was. So coding becomes easy. It's for sorting, monitoring, planning, controlling tomorrow. You want to add you might need a risk assessment later on. So you want to sorted data, you want something which is very specific to look into. So that's how the codings are. Without coding, then it becomes very difficult for me to get any specific result or the required answer, or else it could become very difficult for me to keep on searching everything. So coding is something where we assign the codes to sort the things usually, right? So how do we create these codes? It's here, it's there, you can assign it, but how do we create codes before we assign it? Excuse me. So that's where it is. Here, if you go into this enterprise option, enterprise tab, you can find there's an option called as resource codes, project code, and activity codes. You can see this: resource codes, project codes, and activity codes. As I want to show it for the projects, as I'm there into the projects page, so I'll click on project code. The moment I'm clicking on this project code, I'm there in some project code, that is project longevity. I don't know who has created this, but it is here. I'm not going to use this code now. I want to create my own code. So I'll not select anything because I want to create. If I want to select which is existing, then I can go here, but I do not want to select, I want to create. So to create this code, you will have to click on modify. I'll repeat, not add, because adding anything here will add the values of this code, that is project longevity. I'm not creating any values, I want to create the code. So to create the code, you will have to click on modify option. The moment you click on this modify option, you can find this add button here. This is where I want to add to create the code. You can see there's a new code which has come here, as it is alphabetically sorted, so it has come it in somewhere in between. So I'll let me decide what code I have to create or I want to create. Everything on this earth has been already created in this, I guess. There's lots of codes which are there. There's lots of codes which are there created already. Let me think something different, or what we can do is, because we will have to think really different to do that. So what I do, I'll delete some code so that I can create one more of a same name. Don't worry, I'm just deleting because or else I'll have to think, I have to waste a lot of time on thinking what new I want. There's so many things in this already. There's so many new codes which we have created. You can just read out few till it is getting deleted. You can see there's some code called as priority. Based upon the priority in the sense probably a high, low, moderate could be a priority. Strategic ratings, financial ratings of the projects, technological ratings of the projects, risk based upon the risk ratings, project managers, project type, current phase. What is project type? Project type probably what we can code, or we can group them with respect to the what kind of projects they are. Current phases means ongoing projects, grouping it one side, completed projects grouping it one side, just planned project grouping it another side, or something here we have location also, based upon the location, if you want to group them, type of work, capacity analysis, project size. Capacity analysis based upon what is required in the future, not based upon what is completed. Business processes, business segment, responsible persons. So I just deleted one, so I'll just create now. It was client, so I'm just creating it again client. Now based upon the clients, I'm going to create I already created a code. I'll have to create the values of it now. Okay, so I've created a client here as a code. The name of the project code is client, and maximum length. What is this maximum length? I'll explain you. This maximum length is, next after this creating the codes, we'll have to create the values in the sense the client names. You want to group them with respect to the clients, right? A client is a code, just name of a code, but who are our clients? The names of the clients has to be typed. So for that, the maximum characteristics, the strings what you can use is 7 by default, right? So 32 is that what I can use. Yeah, if I am saying 33, it's not taking. Maximum code length must be 1 to 32. So maximum what I can use, how many characteristics or the strings I can use to create the code values are 32. Remember this. Excuse me. And then when I say close, you can see here the project code which I have created, client, has come here, has appeared here, right? Now when I say add here, I'm adding the clients. I'll have to add the clients. For example, I'll give a code value as C1. C1 is my client 1. And I'll just have to name somebody. I should say this NCC is my client. I'll say C2, right? Now PNR infrastructure is my client. I'll add PNR. I'll say C3. Who else you want to? HCC. So these are my 3 clients, assuming it. Okay, just an assumption. We have NCC, HCC, and PNR are 3 clients what we have. Now I'll say close. We have just created the code and we have created the values. Okay, now I want to create, or I want to assign that particular values. I'll repeat. Now I want to assign the values what we have created to my projects, existing projects. You can see now these projects, all these projects have been grouped into what? I'll repeat my question. These projects are grouped into what? These projects are already grouped into EPS, right? All these projects are grouped into EPS. Correct, no? So these three projects comes under DEF overseas or DEF infrastructure. So currently these projects are grouping or grouped into EPS. Now I do not want grouping to be done with respect to the EPS. I want grouping to be done with respect to my clients. Understood? Now how do we do that? So for that you will have to click on the projects which all the projects you want to assign the values. Okay, and here you will have to go to the codes in the detail window and then say assign. The moment you click on this assign, you can see here in this dialog box that the code values which you have already created are here. You can see this code is client and the values are NCC, HCC and PNR. Like for example, if I say this project belongs to NCC, this project belongs to HCC, this is just an example. Usually we'll have around, say your company has around 70-80 projects ongoing at particular time, and then you have a 10-12 companies which are for which your company is working for. So that time this particular things becomes handy, because you want to see that for which company what we are doing, what is the cash flow currently in which particular company, and anything risk or delay or anything you want to monitor. Anything, it could be resources, assignments, or project completion dates, nearing dates, milestone achievements, anything you want to see, it will sort it with respect to the companies and give you. Nice, no? So I'm randomly just selecting these and assigning the values to it. Let me do it only so much, not do it all. So I've assigned for few. Now next what? We have created the codes. First what we do? First we created the codes. Then after creating the code, we created the code values. Then we came out of it and then clicked on the project, go to the detail window, started assigning the values to it, right? After completion of so much, you will have to click on view. In this view option, there is something called as group and sort by. Here you will have to go to this customize option. I'll repeat it again. I'll show you again. You'll have to click on this view, go to group and sort by. You have an option called as customize. Click on this customize, and here you can see group by, right? In this, when you pop down, there's a segment or there's a group where you will able to find, yeah, here it is. Yeah, what name it was, client, no? So I'll have to find it in alphabetical order. Yeah, it's here, CLIENT. Yeah, so I click on this. Now it is asking for one level or all the levels. I'll say for all the levels. Anyway, it does not for all the levels is that what I'm going to give, because I have not applied it for the multiple levels. So I'll click on apply and say okay. The moment I do that, you can see this all projects where I have applied NCC. These are the projects which belong to HCC, and these are the projects which belong to PNR infrastructure. And apart from that, for all my rest of the project where I did not assign my any of the code value, there it is showing no client, means this is where we haven't assigned any of the code values. So the client is the code and the values are NCC, HCC and PNR. Now with respect to that, all the summarization of the things like actual cost or labor's cost or whatever, I will be able to get with respect to the company's projects. I'm summarizing these particular 3-4 projects and it will tell me that what is happening in HCC. Whatever the columns I get it down here, probably risk assessment or anything, it will tell me with respect. You can see the priorities also. It will tell me with us, summarizing all the stuff. So it becomes easy to understand that what is happening in which particular company. And it can be created in a way you want it. A type of projects or based upon project managers. In fact, many times we do this. The project codes are created and assigned with respect to the project managers. I want to know which project manager is handling how many projects and what is the status of that in terms of anything and everything, time, cost, risk, anything. So you can group these projects the way you want to monitor them, the way you want to generate a report. I am assume I'm a program manager or portfolio manager, and I have to submit the details on the reports on the multiple projects. Now, how my top level management want to see that? Is that how I want to summarize it? You understanding? Like, for example, anybody wants to know what is happening in NCC. What is that happening with NCC with respect to our company? So I want to show them what is happening, how many projects we are handling of NCC, what all the things have happened, how much cost involvement has happened, what was the budgeted cost of put together of all the projects, what is the actual cost we have spent, where we are, how much lagging behind, how much the work has been completed, when the projects are going to be completing, which quarter the contract will get finished, everything. So you can summarize it the way you want it. I am just giving an example, right? This is not the only use of it. As I showed you, I'll show you again. We have done, or we have planned to do it in so many different types. In fact, I told you about location also. Excuse me. I told you about location as well. I want this project to be done with respect to the location. I want to see how many projects are happening in Bangalore. What is the current status of it? I want to see it with respect to the capacity analysis or strategic objective, or some of the times what I would say is what stage gates, stage gates also, in a way where we want to see for every phase there's a different types of achievement what we want to do. All the projects outputs are not same, no? Right. We do not. There is no single or a same output after completion of every project. So based upon the outputs of the stages, we want to see the grouping assessment of that, or based upon sponsor who is investing, which particular group of companies are investing on what kind of projects, based upon that, or estimated project size. You want to group the bigger projects into one side, and then moderate, and then the smaller projects. Resource rating, financial ratings, technological ratings. Probably financial ratings, of course. Yes, I want to. Every company wants to know the projects which are really performing good in terms of financials, the projects which are doing okay in terms of financial, and the projects which are not at all performing good or underperformers. So financial ratings, with respect to the financial ratings, we can do that. So whatever you want. So you will have to decide what the code you want to do, then click on add. The moment you click on add, you will be able to find it here, and then say add. The values will be getting added. The moment you add the values, close, click on the projects, go to the detail window. In the codes you have an option called as assign. Click on this assign. The codes will be assigned, and you will have to assign for each and individual projects like this, for all the projects whatever you have. And then after assigning the codes, you will have to click on view, group and sort by. Here you have an option called as customize. You'll have to click on group and by, and then you will have to search for what the code you have created and select, and then say apply. Okay, you'll be able to do this, right? Similarly, the way we are able to do it for the projects, we'll be able to do it for the activities also. Lot many times because I told you there are 3,000, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 activities sometimes. How do I monitor them now? How do I look into this? It's too much. So we want to group them as well. I want to group into based upon the status. I want to group the activities which are completed, ongoing activities, and future coming activities, that is incompleted activities, I could say. So how do I see that? I can again create a code, assign the values to the activities, and then group them, so that you can focus only to the activities which you want. You understanding? Or type of work, carpenter's work, mason's work, barbenders work, you can group them, and you can just go click only on that particular work, and you'll be able to find out only those particular activities, right? So we have activity codes. Now in activity codes there are three categories. You can create an activity code under three categories. I'll show you that. When you click on this option called as activity codes, you will have option called as global, EPS and project. Global, EPS and project are the three categories under which you can create the activity code. Now what are these? Simple, exactly like calendar. When you create a global calendar, what do you mean by that? That means that particular calendar can be used by any project, right? It's not restricted and limited to any single project or EPS. Similarly, when you create an activity code under this option called as global, then it is not only restricted and limited to that particular project's activity, but it can be used for any other project's activities also. It's a common, general. But if I select an EPS, then that will become a limitation. Means the any activity code which you create under this EPS option, it will be only for that particular EPS. I'll have to select, right? I have to select and tell which particular EPS I want to create this for, and then option called as project. This project is only when I create an add option to this particular project, then it will be only for this particular project, not for anybody else or anything else, right? Now one after that, you will have to click on global and then have to go for option called as modify, right? I cannot click create add here, so the moment I go for modify, you can see there are so many codes again here created already by default. So I'll create one more. I'll say add. You can see here I have added a new code. Now this code is for what? Now this code is to be created for sorting my activities, right? Now, but I'm creating it under global. That means this should not be a specific only to this activity. This code have to be created something which is general, which anybody can use it. For example, I'll say it's already there. So it is taking status 1. Okay, let it be status 1 itself. Let us not do any changes into it. Okay, I'll just close. Now you can see here the code is generated as status 1. I'll say add. Now what I'm adding the values for it. Now I'll say the code value is, say, or it could be same also. Not every time you should there should be an alphabetical number to create a values, nothing like that. It can be same as a code and a value. For example, I'll say this as yeah, however you want. Let's say I'll say it's completed, and this itself can be a value also. I'll show it in this way. Alright, so what it is telling me, I'll have to go to modify once more. It is telling me that you have given only maximum 7, so it is not taking the word completed. So I'll increase this to 15 or 31 or 32. Is that what maximum we have, right? So I'll have 32 for there, and now I'll type it as completed, right? So I'm just giving the same values. I will say ongoing. These are the status. It could be anything. I'm just giving you to make you understand. And this is a future activity, so I can call it as, I'll say, to be started. Alright, and then say close. Now I'll come to these activities and I'll have to go to this detail window called as codes and then say assign, and you can see that this status 1 is already here. So we just have to click on this and then go on adding the codes. So this can be anything, again probably based upon the responsible manager, type of work, type of scope of the work, based upon the contractor, subcontractor, based upon the subcontractors, your activities can be distributed and divided, and you can group it in a that particular way to understand that what is happening in that particular segment, right? So when you select any activity codes, it's just to understand that what is happening into that particular thing. Basically, usually it could be based upon cost efficiencies, or you do not know about that, so I'm not talking about it. I'm restricting myself not to talk about something which I have not told you already. Something called as CPI, SPI, Cost Performance Index, and Schedule Performance Index. Basically what we do this grouping and sorting with respect to the CPI and SPI. So means the performance ratio, it's CPI is Cost Performance Index. It will tell me in terms of index that what is the performance of cost on this particular activity. So we want to monitor those activities and all in that way. So alright, so now I have done that. I'll again go to view, group and sort by. Similar thing, I'll have to click on this. Now what we have created, status 1. So we have status 1. I'll select that. I'll say apply. I'll say OK. You can see it's here, the activities which are completed, ongoing. This is just randomly I've done without considering it's really completed, not completed, ongoing. I just randomly whatever is I've just selected and I've done it. It's not true at this point, but usually we do it to understand that how many activities are completed, how many are ongoing, and so that we can summarize it and see this is the number what is summarized here. This is the number what is summarized here. So I can see that ongoing particular at completion cost is higher than completed. So this is just for understanding, that's all, nothing more. The total duration for ongoing activities required is 20 days. The ongoing activities are from 11 July to 4th of August. So it's only for our understanding, that's all. So how do you want to group them? How do you want to, coding will decide it. So you'll have to code and then group and sort it, so it becomes easier. So now this is general, right? So that's the reason why I've created this under activity codes global. Why did I do it here? Because completed, ongoing, to be started is same in all the projects. These words, these codes, these code values will not change in no matter what project it is. But if I have to be little more specific, I'll click on modify. I'll say add. Now I'm going to be very specific. I'll say it as I want to choose a responsible person. Means I want to know, or I want to just give it as ABC here, not taking any names. Alright, so just I'll type A. These are the people, these are some name, okay, some names which we want to assign. Now I'll remove this. How do I remove this is that what I have to show you now before I do anything else. Or I can directly remove it by changing the codes. For example, I can go to this option called as group and filter. Now here I will say either no, means there is no any, none, no any grouping. I do not want any grouping at all, or by default what grouping was been done was WBS, right? So I can do it as WBS. So this is how it was, right? So now I want to create this, or I want to assign the new values now. So on this activity I'll say assign, what was that, responsible person, right? So responsible person, you will not be able to find it here. Why? Because you are searching it under global. So you'll have to click on this project so that you will be able to find this ABC. So I'm just giving some responsibilities for these people. So A for this activities, D, B is responsible for E, A is responsible, F, B is responsible. So what will happen tomorrow as a project manager, and you want to know that what is happening onto the site with respect to the engineers, that what his amount of work has been happened, or what is his responsibility, what he has done and all, monitoring becomes easy. So you have assigned the work already. Now you go to the view option, go to your group and sort by, and now R here, where it is. Oh, there are two things. I don't know which one is correct. No, the other one. Right, so you can see it's A, B, C. So now we can see that what A has happened, or if there is any lag. There are lots of columns here which I'll show you while monitoring and controlling. So you can monitor it the way you want. You want to see that what is the performance of B, what is the performance of C. If you remember, I told you that as in a Primavera we also can monitor and will be able to get to know that what is the performance of human resources. That's amazing, no? I can get the productivity sheet. I will be able to know that what is that what we have thought that you should do and what you have done. The both can be reviewed to each other based upon what? Based upon these things. I can create the codes. I'll give an assignments of the work what it been assigned to, and then I'll put on those particular columns to see that what you have done. The moment you fill your timesheet saying that you have worked for 52 hours of this particular week, automatically it will come here and get added that you have done so much of actual work, what was planned and what you have done. You have to give a justification that if it is not done that actually how much it was, or if you have done more, then you will also have to take the more responsibility in the next week. So that's how it works. Alright, so this is one more stuff, and this is specifically to this activity. Why did I create it under a category called as projects here? That's what the point I wanted to make. Why did I create it here, why and not here, is because the responsible persons of this particular activity might not be the responsible for some other project, right? For example, whoever X, Y, Z, A, B, C are the three people who are working currently in this particular project are not working in any other project apart from this. So how does that be a common? It's specific, right? So if anything which is very specific only to this project, then you can click on this and create it here, so that it is not reflecting, or this ABC or this responsible person is not reflecting in any of the project's activity codes. But if you click here and then create, then what will happen? All these codes which are there are reflecting for all the projects, so anybody can use, which is very common. Just say that health and safety. We want to know health and safety as in high, low, moderate, based upon these are priorities, right? So for which particular activity I'll have to give a more preferences in terms of health and safety. So again, risk assessment is another term here which is used for health and safety. But yeah, so this is very common, high, low, moderate, which is very common. I can use it for any project. So I've created in the global. But something which is very specific to the project, you'll have to click here and do. If anything specific to the whole EPS, then you can click here and do, right? It's simple as that. Similar way we can do it for an resources also. We can do it for resources as well, right? So the moment you click on any of the resource, you can find out again we have an option for assigning the codes. Now here you can do, for example, if I have to go again to this resource codes to show you, same, creating is again same, so I'm not going to create this time. I've done it already thrice. Creating is same. You will have to click on enterprise, click on the code whichever you want to create, go to an option called as modify, and then you will get an option called as add. Here you can see we have done something like which is more relevant to resources, like department. Means if resources are more than 200, 300, but they belong to which particular department, contractors, different subcontractors, locations, where they come from, classifications of that, project names, plans, because resources, all the resources of the company are there into this resource sheet. I want to separate them with the project names. Means I want to know which particular human resource is working for which project. In your resource sheet, what will happen? It will show all the resources. I want to group them, I want to sort them based upon the project names, based upon the plants where they are working. If plant is For a manufacturing industry, we are just given that, or anything like, probably department. These people come from planning department, execution, monitoring, controlling, store functions, design, planning, what particular thing. So you'll just have to add that. So you can create the code here. Again, you'll have to create the values here, and then you close, click on the resource, go to an option called as code, then go to an assign the value, then go to view, group and sort by, and then change the code value so that you will be able to sort it with respect to the codes what you have created. Right? So this is all about creating the codes. And if you do not want, again you will have to bring it back to the default grouping of it. So there could be an option like, for example, default for activities was what? WBS. So I'll have to go to this option, group and sort by, and I want again this to be sorted back on WBS name. So I'll say go WBS and say okay. So that's how it happens here also. This is right now based upon the clients, the projects have been sorted. I want to again bring back the default one. So I'll go to view option, again group and sort by, customize, or you can here also we have an option called as EPS. Click on this. You can see these projects have already again sorted back on a default grouping that is called as EPS, enterprise project structure. So simple as that. So its importance is very high. You need to do this. It will help you a lot when you are doing a reporting. You might have your understanding about how do you want to see it, how do you it's all customized, but it's not the same when somebody asks you to do a reporting. Reporting is not that what you want it. Reporting is that what they want it. They tell you that this is what I want to see, and you'll have your report has to be generated according to their requirement. So that time these codings, assignments and all will help you a lot actually. Okay, very good. So next is a very important again topic. This is usually a part of coding and filtering, but still this is again helpful for reporting, generating and all the stuff, and this is known as filtering. There is something called as filters. Filter, I need not explain what is filter, so I'll just directly get into how do I do filtering and what basis I want to do filtering and all. So if you go to this option called as view, you also have option called as filter by. Now this shortcuts are there here. You can see you just have to find out these symbols. Okay, this group and sort symbol. Now this is a filter symbol, so you can find it here in shortcuts also. This is a group and sort by, and this is filter, right? The moment I click on this filter, I am there into this filters tab, and you can see there by default there's so many filters which are available already. I'll repeat, these are the filters which are standard, which are there already, which has been created by Oracle and they have given you. So you can filter out the activities which are completed. You can filter out the activities which are critical. Now for example, I click on this. I want to filter the activities which are critical, right? I'll say apply. I'll say okay. You can see here there are activities which are critical only. There is no activity A, there is no activity D, there is no activity F, because those are non-critical activities. We have filtered only the activities which are critical, right? We have removed out the things which is non-critical. So these are the default, or if you do not want, there is an option called as clear filters, or you can uncheck this and say apply, so that again all the things have come, right? This is default which is there. For example, in progress activities, level of effort, longest path of the project, milestone. If there is only a milestone, I want to see only the milestones. Negative float, if there is any negative float. Non what if. What if is something which I'll teach you later. What if is analysis. Non-critical activities, normal activities, not started activities. So this is something which is default. You can see here this is a default. Default means it has been already created by Oracle. There is something called as global here. These are the activities which is customized. These are the filters which are customized. Now I'll click on any of these. Let me click on this global and then say add. or the new. That means this is a new filter. What do I want to do? Okay, just to show something, I want to filter out all the activities which are more than 4 days. I'll repeat, I want to filter out all the activities which are more than 4 days. So duration more than 4. Just example. Now I have to create a parameter to match it. So because we have to create a filter, no? So parameters. The parameter is where my activity name, or sorry, my duration, no? My duration, where it is. Alright, sorry, I should say original duration, not only duration. I should type O, yeah. So where my original duration is greater than, where is greater than, yeah, greater than, value is 4. It will take by default day because it's in days, no? Duration is always days. So where original duration is greater than 4, so I'll say okay. Filter is already created, it's already applied. I'll say apply, and I say okay. You can see these are the only activities which is 4.8, 6.4, 7.2 and 8. These are the activities which have duration more than 4 days. Rest of the activities I am not able to see it. This is a customized filter which I created it for no matter what reason. You can create your filters with your requirements. You want to see only that particular resource where is working, then you can filter it out based upon the resource names. You understanding? I want to see only the mason's work. Then the moment I click on the activity code, I resource name mason and then filter it off. I'll show you. Now again, to remove this, I'll uncheck that. To clear off the filters, I'll uncheck that and say apply, so that again everything comes back. Right. Now for example, I'll add one more. Do we have created resources here? Just let me check. No, there's no resources for these activities now. What anything else I will show you. But if you want to do it in that way, so you will have to click on this new, then you will have to check with this options here, what do we have. So if we have something, you will have to click on this. We have resources, right? So click on this resources. Resources equal to, and you will have to find out what resource you are looking for. Type that. As we do not have anything, so we are not getting anything here. Type it and then say okay, so that you can filter only that particular resources activity. Now this filter is for only activity? No, this is there for project page also, resource page also, and for activity page also. And similarly, we also have some defaults to that. Like for example, when you go to the projects page and then you go to this filter and then say customize or open, you can see here by default again there are different filters which are there. I want to see the projects which are checked out, means locked projects. Oh, there are no projects which are locked currently. Okay. Planned, what if, these are some statuses actually. You will find lot of activity projects as active only, very few. If I have something, let me check. Yeah, you can see this DMART project is only planned but not executed, so it is only planned. So I can filter out only the things which I want. If I want to see the active projects which are inactive, nothing inactive. Okay, active you will be seeing lot of active projects actually. Yeah. Or if I want only a project which is open, then I can filter out. You can see this is the project which we are working out currently, and this is the only project which is open. So these are all default. But if you want to create anything new, again the same thing. You will have to click on this and then say create new, that is add new here, and then you can create as much as you want. Right, so you can click on add. If you want multiple filters, multiple parameters where this is equal to this and also that is also equal to this. So where, for example, when I add this here, you can see here the AND option comes, right? When I click on that, and AND option comes. So this, you can select a multiple parameters to create a filters also. Similarly, you also have a filters for the resource page here. Now this is again, we have either options of active, all active resources, all resources, current projects, or timesheet manager. So these are the options what we have here for this resource page. So similarly, like what we have done it for grouping and sorting off by creating the codes, filter is almost the similar, but we are not removing anything in grouping, but we are filtering it out, and we want to see only the things which we want to. We do not want to group it everything. So yeah, this is all about creating the codes, creating the filters, creating the assigning filters, and using your activities, resources, priorities, however you want, and sorting it off. It is really helpful actually when we are planning it specifically or monitoring anything specifically. It helps us. All right, so far so good, everything is good, I believe. The next topic would be very it's one of the most important part, because that becomes a what I can say is a boundary, or a place where one phase of our learning completes and another phase starts, and that is planning. What we are doing currently is everything with respect to the planning. How do I want? It's all assumptions, and we are doing everything to the planning. We have estimated the activities starting from creating the EPS, creating a project, creating the calendars, then breaking down, creating the WBS, and then creating the activities, giving the relationships based upon the dependencies, assigning the durations, creating the resources, assigning the roles and resources, and now filtering and grouping the way we want to execute, monitor it tomorrow. So it's all everything what we have done till now is all planning. There are lots of things which are there in the planning which are not included directly into the Primavera. That could be probably the planning with respect to the risk, the planning with respect to the communications, procurement, stakeholders. Those plannings are not directly being infused here, but one or the other way it is also related. Because we are talking about resources, materials, and all. Without procurement management, you cannot do that. So it's all related to it. So the moment we finish this planning phase, what next? Once the planning is completed, what next? The next is executing the project. Now for that, what do we need? Before I start executing my project, I need something for which I have to compare this tomorrow. Right? I need to compare this tomorrow, right? Because whatever I have planned, my client expect me to do it according to what the plan has been approved. Now what you have done, what the planning we have done, it's only a reference that tomorrow we will do this similar type of work. And this plan itself can be a reference. It will be a reference, and this is what your client will refer to tomorrow, saying that this activity you have told you will spend so much of money and then you will complete in so many days. What you have done, right? So the current plan becomes a baseline for the execution tomorrow. You understand the word baseline, right? Baseline is for a reference. It's a photocopy, snapshot of what you have planned. It's exactly what you have planned, and that baseline goes to a contractor, and he'll have to update those baselines. Baselines are constant. Baselines are rigid. It cannot move at all. Once the baselines are created and approved, baselines can either be updated, right? Baselines can be updated, but with an approval. Without approval, you cannot update the baseline. You cannot change anything in the baseline. The question arises, who will update? Contractor do not have any authority to do anything, any changes in the baseline. Let me make you little understanding about this, how things works actually in PMC or any company. Once we do the planning has to be approved by two or three people. The one, of course, a client has to approve. Your contractor also have to agree on it, because whatever PMC says, your contractor also have to agree on it, because contractor is a person who has been appointed by PMC. So contractor has to approve it or agree on what PMC says, and the top level management of your company also have to agree on this. Now all these three companies have agreed to execute this plan. Only after approval of all these three people is this plan go to the contractor, and the contractor has to start executing it. Tomorrow, while in the execution, if contractor feels that this plan what we have done was with assumption of so and so thing, but this so and so thing is not happening according to the assumptions what we have made early, so now the changes have to be made. Now changes have to be made to the project. Now the change in whatever the changes you bring into the plan, it affects everything. It affects time, cost, everything. So we need the approval of client. Now client will ask us to do a meeting. He'll call us for the meeting, and the meeting starts. He'll ask the first question to PMC, that why did you assume it in this way when it was to be assumed in this way? Why did you plan it in this way where it should have been planned it in this way? So the question, it starts from why you have planned, you have promised me that you'll do it in this way, and now why a contractor is telling you that this is not possible to do it in this way. Now we'll have to give justifications that why happened, what was there, what did actually the assumptions was, and then what happened actually. All those things we will have to convince a client that neither it's a problem of a planning, nor it is a problem of a contractor, but there is something which is not under any of our control. That is the reason why it has happened. Then a client might give you okay. Or until unless if client feels that at any stage that this problem is not because of external effect, but it was a mistake of a PMC, or it's a mistake of a contractor, client will not approve the change in the plan or the change in the project. He'll not at all approve it. He wants it to be done in a similar way what you have told me. Why do I say? Because while you tendering the project, you told me all these things, and now you are telling me that these are not things not possible, I'll do it in this way. No, why should I agree? Why any client should agree on that? Client want it to be done as you have told early. So it becomes a project manager's responsibility. So most of the time, if it is a contractor's problem, then PMC will not at all involve in it. Will tell straightly that contractor, look, this is your problem. You sort it however you want, but we cannot change anything in the planning. So the baselines are constant. Baselines cannot be changed. But if really there is something like this COVID-19 or the floods or something which is, client is also helpless in some lot many ways, and the contracts what we have done earlier is not at all valid to be considered now, so the change in the plans will be approved by client, and on so on and so forth. So yes, baselines are very important. Baselines are exactly the photocopy of what you have planned with respect to the time, cost, scope, everything. Nothing can be changed once the baseline is created. Now you understood, right? What is baseline? Baselines are the plan which we have already created, which is used for comparison. Tomorrow when the actual start, there's all the changes that plans can be changed. There are some amount of plans can be changed without taking a permission also. That is left out to the PMC and contractor again. And these are the plans which is not affecting the scope of the work, nor scope of the cost, nor on the time. So if it is not affecting the work, time and cost, the changes can be made. You need not get a permission of a client for that case. So plans can change. In fact, it's keep on changing. But baselines will not change, because your client do not want to compare to the changes what you have done. Your client want to compare it to what you have told me initially. So always the actuals are compared to the baselines, not for the current plan. Are you understanding? I'll just give an example. Assume there's an activity E here, right, which you have planned it for 8 days. Because of some XYZ reason, now in the execution we are planning to finish this not in 8 days but in 10 days. There's a change in the plan. Now client do not want to compare that to a 10 days that what you have done. I still want to compare it to 8 days because the baseline says this activity was supposed to finish it in 8 days. So the actuals what happens onto the site tomorrow in the execution will not be compared to the current plan. I'll repeat, the actuals what we do it onto the site will not be compared to the current plan. It will be compared to the baselines. So once the baselines can be, n number of baselines. As much as client approves your change of the plan, you can create as much as baselines you want. Or client initially have approved 3 plans. This also is one of the scenarios, but usually it happens into the power projects. They usually come with plan A, plan B, plan C to execute it. And all plan A, plan B, plan C is been approved by clients. All the 3 plans are approved by client. So you can have plan A, plan B, plan C as a 3 baselines, and your actuals will be compared actually to all the 3 baselines. You understanding? I can compare my actuals to all the 3 plans. With respect to the plan A, what has happened? With respect to the plan B, what has happened? With respect to the plan C, what has happened? And then which you want to implement and continue, you can further do that. You understanding? Which you feel it is more relevant, you can continue working on it. So that's how it works. So how do I create baselines and all? I'll just quickly show you, but probably will not do it here now in this thing. If you click on this project, you can see there's an option called as maintain baseline, assign baselines, right? So here we have an option called as creating the baselines and all, which I'll not show you now. It's already 5-6. We can see it again tomorrow. So we can create a baselines, and then we start applying the baselines to the activities, so that tomorrow when we start executing, we'll start comparing to it. Alright. So I've just stopped sharing, and I also stop the recording